Why are the Dutch so good at e-commerce? This video actually has me really curious because I did e-commerce for quite a bit of time before I actually did YouTube. I've had a lot of different jobs throughout the year, but e-commerce, I went down that route. I used to sell sunglasses and shirts, not really like drop shipping, actually ordered products, but nonetheless, I've been in that realm. I was in marketing, so I have a little bit of knowledge on this industry, and I'm kind of curious why the Dutch are so successful at e-commerce. It's not something that I really knew beforehand, so I'm about to get educated. Smash the like button. Let's dive in.
On paper, the Netherlands shouldn't be an e-commerce heavyweight. It's one of Western Europe's smallest countries, roughly the combined size of Connecticut and Massachusetts, with a population barely over 18 million. And yet, a disproportionate
That's still a lot of people. 18 million? People.
Share of Europe's digital commerce ecosystem was built here, from the infrastructure that powers online transactions to the platforms and brands shaping how people shop. The Dutch have built the payment processing company powering online shopping, the world's largest online travel platform, the largest online file transfer service, and a plethora of exciting startups ranging from direct-to-consumer products to online supermarkets to marketplaces reinventing how buyers and sellers connect. So it begs the question, how does a country smaller than South Carolina keep producing the companies and the infrastructure that power online trade?
I just gotta say, I love the landscape and the look of the cities and the buildings. Everything in the Netherlands is just so stunning.
The explanation can't simply be size. Sure, bigger markets tend to produce bigger companies, but the Netherlands has fewer people than the Paris metro area, a smaller economy than Poland, and, unlike the US or China, no vast domestic market of hundreds of millions to help companies scale. So the answer must lie deeper. Something about the country itself that makes online business easier to scale than anywhere else. The real explanation comes down to 4 structural advantages. Let's start with geography. The country sits at the heart of Europe's wealthiest consumer corridor, the so-called Blue Banana, stretching from Manchester to Milan. Within 500 kilometers of the Dutch border live 170
It's the first time I've ever heard the term the Blue Banana. It kind of makes sense though, right?
million consumers. Widen that radius to 1,000 kilometers and the number jumps to 244 million. From a single warehouse in the Netherlands, a parcel can reach London, Paris, Frankfurt, or Brussels within 24 hours by road. It's why companies like Nike and Samsung base their European distribution hubs here. One warehouse can serve half the continent overnight. That geographic advantage is amplified by infrastructure. The Port of Rotterdam is Europe's largest seaport, moving more than 397 million tons of cargo in 2024. Far ahead of Antwerp and Hamburg, which together handled around 340 million tons. 40 minutes north, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport ranks as the continent's 5th largest cargo hub, handling 1.49 million tons of freight in 2024, an 8% jump as global e-commerce volumes surged. Together, these two hubs form something unique. A half-hour drive between Europe's biggest seaport and one of its biggest cargo airports, both plugged into the same national logistics grid. A dense network of roads, railways, and inland waterways that pushes goods deeper into Europe faster than almost any competing route. The digital infrastructure is just as good. Almost every single Dutch household has access to high-speed internet, among the highest rates in the European Union. The Dutch don't just
That's got to be like one of the highest rates in the entire world. 99% a high-speed internet? It's nuts. I was just on vacation and I was like 3 hours away from where I live and the internet was horrible. We were kind of in the mountains, so yeah, maybe that was the reason why, but yeah, internet can get spotty here in the States.
Of the tools. The instinct to trade is built into the country's DNA. For more than 4 centuries, the Netherlands has been a trading economy. The Dutch East India Company, founded in 1602, became one of the world's first multinational corporations. It pioneered shareholder ownership, created the first modern stock exchange, and built one of the earliest global supply chains, coordinating ships, warehouses, and financing across continents. That legacy still shapes how companies operate today. Businesses are built with cross-border distribution in mind from day one. The domestic market is simply too small to be the end goal, so founders default to designing for export. Communication is famously direct, hierarchies are loose, ideas are debated openly, and decisions tend to move quickly. For tech startups in particular, where rapid iteration is everything, that cultural wiring compounds into a real competitive edge over more hierarchical European markets. The nation also consistently ranks at the top of global English proficiency. It has placed first among non-native speakers 7 times in the 15-year history of the EF English Proficiency Index.
Holy shit,
and
I had no idea.
it has never fallen outside the top 3. That removes a friction most European founders can't avoid. Every product page, help center article, and customer email can be written in the working language of internet commerce from day one. The final pillar you could call...
And written probably like, you know, correctly. I've landed on, I'm sure we all have, well, a lot of you speak other languages just besides English, but I've landed on websites before where like it's in English, but at the same time I can tell it's like disjointed, but yeah.
Government policy. And because that can get dry fast, let's frame it with a simple analogy. Imagine you run your own clothing brand. You outsource production to a factory in Tunisia, Morocco, or Egypt. These locations are appealing because labor is cheap and they're geographically close. But importantly, they sit outside the EU. When those finished garments arrive in the Netherlands, you don't have to pay VAT at the border. Instead, the Dutch government offers a powerful cash flow tool called Article 23. It lets importers defer VAT on goods coming from outside the EU. Rather than paying VAT up front and reclaiming it later, you simply record it on your periodic VAT return. For high-volume e-commerce businesses, that shift from paying immediately to declaring later is a major cash flow advantage.
Yeah, that's
and this
huge.
Isn't standard across Europe. In many EU countries, importers must pay VAT immediately at the border, locking up capital for weeks or months. The Dutch system avoids
such a small change for one country to get such a large advantage. Now, do some people actually default on that VAT tax? I forget, what exactly does VAT stand for? We don't have that here, but I know essentially what it is, and I've heard of it quite a bit. Value added tax, yeah. I knew when I said VAT tax, I was like, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, that's massive. No wonder they're absolutely crushing it.
Entirely, giving e-commerce companies far more liquidity to reinvest in stock, marketing, or growth. When customers place an order, payments flow smoothly and stay compliant with EU rules because the Dutch Central Bank was one of the first to issue licenses under the updated Payment Services Directive. That single license then passports across all 27 EU member states, meaning you can handle payments for customers anywhere in the European Union without needing separate approvals in each country. And while passporting is an EU-wide mechanism, getting the license in the first place isn't equal everywhere. The Dutch regulator moved early, acted quickly, and built a reputation for being predictable and founder-friendly, giving Dutch payment companies a head start in scaling across Europe long before competitors in countries with slower, more conservative regulators. I could go on about the rest of the policy stack, from generous R&D incentives to corporate tax on qualifying IP dropping as low as 9% for companies building payment tech and fraud detection tools, or the liberal hiring rules that give highly skilled migrants a major tax break. But at the risk of sounding like a government spokesperson, the point is simple. The Dutch are doing this a lot better than most of their peers. The Netherlands shows what happens when all these key components point in the same direction. It becomes a prototype for the digital-first economy most countries are still trying to build. When the physical world moves quickly, the digital world compounds even faster. And in the Netherlands, both are engineered to accelerate one another. It's a reminder that e-commerce isn't just about websites and warehouses. It's about the environment that surrounds them. And few environments are as deliberately built for e-commerce as this one.
Look at that. That's a crazy photo. Holy shit. Would life actually be better in a communist America? I gotta watch that myself. I know you guys probably don't want to watch that. All right, that was a really good video coming from the channel Brim. I don't think I said it in the beginning. Brim. Go check them out. I'll have a link to this video below. Go show them some love if you like stuff like this. I know I bounce around to like all kinds of different things, but I'm just interested in quite a bit. So, all right, getting out of here. Interesting video. I had no idea. Makes perfect sense though. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.